these election rallies are a win over win?
Yes.
I think some people who think that those comments are offensive.
You better.
Yes, we're going to enjoy the next few years. And after what the FBI and Department of Justice did in trying to frame and defame Gates personally with nonsense allegations, I can think of a better person to go scorched earth. The American people voted for a reckoning, and the reckoning they felt
Good.
number 3 best Trump selection thus far. It's a woman who not long ago was running to be president as a Democrat. But the Democrats didn't want her. She was too honest, too normal, too patriotic. And let's not forget how she ended Kamala's first run to be president.
She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She won. From death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep tax bail system in place. That impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Michael never recovered. Next to the number 2 selection, another pick that had the left losing it and betraying themselves by slapping a man with superb credentials. It's Trump's Defense Secretary Peter Hegseth. First to the meltdown.
He also picked, you ready? Co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend. Weekend. Pete Hegseth. And he's picked him to be U.S. Secretary of Defense. Now, supporters and detractors are trying to figure out what? Because of this pick.
Not a single mega supporter is trying to figure it out. You are projecting again, Wookie, and let's practice is in any rates better than you, even on the weekend. And we can all say your made-up name, Aaron. Yes, Wookie's real name is Elaine Johnson. But I digress.
Isn't it ironic that Whoopi's real name is Karen?
With an exemplary record.
Is this the guy who's qualified to make decisions about the most powerful military in the world who clearly does not know anything about the military? You know, I'm a morning TV host.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Where's my ambassadorship to Italy?
Such miserable fools. And they weren't alone. Here is Democrat Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, having a go. She wrote, a Fox and Friends Weekend co-host is not qualified to be the Secretary of Defense. I lead the military personnel. All 3 of my brothers served in uniform.
Isn't it ironic?
Every one of the service members. And then you need to apologise to Pete Hegseth, who is not only a veteran with 20 years of service, but a double Bronze Star recipient. He's also an Ivy League educated at Harvard, Princeton. The folks who are celebrating these appointments have a problem with Pete Hegseth because he transitioned to the media. Would they prefer if he transitioned to a they-them? I'm sure Pete Hegseth won't be okay with Chinese spy balloons floating across the country or the botched withdrawal of Afghanistan and then the killing of an innocent Afghan family in a botched revenge operation. He's ready to clean up the mess.
Well, first of all, you got to fire. You got to fire the chairman of the chiefs. And you got to fire this. I mean, obviously, you're going to bring in a new Secretary of Defense, but any general that was involved, general admiral, whatever that was involved in any of the DEI will, it's got to go. You're in for war fighting that, and that's it. And that's the only that's we care about. You got to get DEI and CRT out of military academies. So you're not training young officers to be baptized in this type of thinking. And you have to reestablish that trust by putting in no-nonsense warfighters in those positions who aren't going to cater to the socially correct garbage.
And the number 1 selection thus far for the Trump team are the heads of the Department of Government Efficiency, the smartest men in any room, the duo of Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. This is what we can expect. Here is Vivek last year.
And large-scale mass layoffs are absolutely what we will bring through the D.C. bureaucracy, both because it is necessary and it is sanctioned by the law of the United States of America.
And We all know Elon's compromising style by now.
There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked about
Talking.
You don't advertise. You don't want them to advertise? No. What do you mean? If somebody's going to try to blackmail them with advertising, blackmail them with money, or so. But, go. Yourself. Is that fair?
Go fuck yourself.
Joining me now is Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Let's discuss some of these Trump selections. It's clear his second term will be markedly different from the first. It's clear his transition team has been working for months now to put this team together. The selection of Ratcliffe for CIA director is significant. The lawfare, the weaponization of the CIA is a focus for Trump's base, and so too the selection of Matt Gaetz as AG kosher. This is exciting times for the Trump base.
You know, the biggest criticism of Trump in the first term was personnel. And he fell into, he wanted to drain the swamp, he fell into the tried and tested model of Washington types because he was told and warned they'll never get confirmation in the Senate and work with them. And personnel is policy. So a lot of his supporters are really waiting to see how is this one going to be different. He's been sending shockwaves in the last 48 hours through the swamp and others. And what's interesting is
From the swamps, they're squirting like lizards now, boy. It's scared.
See how that plays out because there still is that civil war in the GOP-controlled Senate.
Yes.
But they're all very young. They're in their 40s, pretty much all of them. They're populists. They subscribe to the MAGA America First philosophy on everything from economics to foreign policy and the rest of it. So interesting times, buckle up.
And this is what a lot of the commentators don't understand. They keep talking about Trump's just picking people who are going to be loyal to him. No, it's loyal to the agenda which the American people voted for. So his base, his supporters, they don't want people in there who are going to be obstructing or going to be Republicans in name only. That's precisely what they have voted against. And this tweet from J.D. Vance just on that Matt Gaetz selection is very interesting. He wrote, the main issue with Matt Gaetz is that he used his office to prosecute his political opponents and authorise federal agents to harass parents who were peacefully protesting at school board meetings. Oh wait, that's actually Merrick Garland, the current Attorney General. And that's a point that again, the bulk of the media don't seem to understand. They're just so agitated by these selections. They don't understand what's led us to this point.
Yes, that was a shot across the bow to the Senate, newly elected Senate Majority Leader, Thune, and there was a bit of infighting going on whether Rick Scott, the more populist Trump loyalist, would make it or Thune did. Thune is of the old guard, but he had to fight to get that because he was challenged. And then he came out and put a statement out that I will do everything I can to confirm all of Trump's picks. And then right after that, Trump started dropping these bombshells like Matt Gaetz. So I think what JD's doing there is reminding him that, you did commit to that. And if you were so quick to nominate people or confirm people like Merrick Garland, let's not clutch our pearls for somebody like Matt Gaetz.
Absolutely. And on that blow, because it is certainly a blow for the Trump team not to get the Senate leader. They wanted Rick Scott. He's on side. He's going to deliver their agenda. The man they have now, tell me a little bit more about him. He is very much mistrusted and it was a close ballot. And I think that is a problem in itself. Why isn't there transparency so people know who the person they elected voted for?
Yes, I think transparency is going to be a big theme coming in from declassification and to pushing more.
We the people should demand that asshole be moved. We don't want him. We the people don't want him.
Now, Senator Thune, he's from South Dakota, Ruby Red State, but it's been funny, people in the lead up to this were recirculating some news back from 16 and others.
We want that motherfucker, we don't.
Anti-Trump tweets out there. He sort of was a protege of Mitch McConnell, who the Trump faction does not particularly care for. So, he comes with some baggage to the Trump house, but at this point in time, he and the established Republicans are on the back foot. Trump has a spectrum of dominance right now, and he's going to use that.
Absolutely. Now, let's compare the Biden administration's borders are Kamala Harris with Trump's incoming borders are components. spot the subtle difference.
I got a message. To the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden released our country in violation of federal law, you better start packing now.
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border. And I haven't been to Europe. I don't understand the point that you're making.
I hear a lot of people say, you know, the talk of a mass deportation is racist. It's threatening to the immigrant community. It's not threatening to the immigrant community. We should be threatening to the illegal immigrant community.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Yeah.
Of course,
For the
they
more
need
to
to
get
be deported together.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, for the whole family.
For the whole
The
family.
big
For all
difference there, this was possibly the number one issue, right up there with the economy, if not bigger. The base is going to expect to see these deportations. It's going to be a core promise that has to be fulfilled.
And it is going to be met with opposition, the likes of which we have never seen. Still, some
That's why we should, everybody that want all these illegal aliens here need to be fired. Immediately. They don't give a fuck about us. They should be fired. We don't need them working in our motherfucking government.
So you need somebody to
And definitely not working for our fucking business.
push forward, but not certainly Trump, but all the way down. And Tim Holman seems to be that person. He never pulls any punches. He was the ICE director, so he's been on the front lines, literally seeing what has been happening, the joke of the U.S. southern border that it's become. So he will push ahead, but every step of the way, he's still going to get pushed on this.
The Democrats have really kicked an own goal in attacking Pete Hegseth, the veteran with stellar record. And to see the likes of Whoopi Goldberg and Elizabeth Warren, this man is a terrible kosher. That he is picking outsiders, he is picking people that you don't expect to see, but they're going to deliver his agenda, and that is the whole game here.
They're being very dissident as Pete Hegseth because the thing that they were trying to make go viral, and I think they got ratioed, is he's a Fox News weekend host. Yeah, they were trying to diminish him. Not all of us in the media are only solely doing that. He has many other things in his portfolio. He is an actual warrior who served for 20 years in the U.S. military, 2 active deployments in combat zones in Iraq and Afghanistan. We moved away from this, where in the past it used to be actual warriors and soldiers commanded the army and not people sitting behind pushy desks in D.C. He ticks that box. And by the way, he also graduated from Princeton and Harvard from the credentialists who want to mock his intelligence. By diminishing him as just a weekend focus. So it's very interesting. He is a young guy, again, very different profile than he's typically in there, but to call him, to diminish him is disingenuous because he clearly has leadership skills.
He also clearly knows what's the problem, what are the problems within the bureaucracy that he has to fix. And he's spoken about that heavily. I think it's just a very smart choice. He's likable, he's capable, he's young, he's got a lot going for him. And someone else who ticks all those boxes and who Trump has nominated is a former Democrat Congressman, Tulsi Gabbard. She's going to serve as Director of National Intelligence. Amazing, Coach. It was not long ago the left were trying to defame her as some sort of a traitor.
In aid into Russia, she was, and she has a lawsuit out, I think, against the Clintons. It's been long-standing. She was a rising star in the Democrat Party. Female veteran. She was given very senior positions early on when she got elected, and the transformation from that to leaving the party to being an independent, she was supporting Trump, and then she converting officially to the party and now being in the cabinet, should she get confirmation from the Senate. It's a great story arc, a mini story arc under the Trump story arc, and the other thing too is she's a veteran. She's solidly anti-war unless it is of direct, provable, tangible, visible benefit to the national interest of America. And a lot of the wars that we've engaged in do not fulfill that. So that's going to be a very interesting shake-up. And she knows of what she speaks, having actually served her country.
Absolutely, and so many Americans who have great respect for the military would agree with that position wholeheartedly. They're not anti-military, they're just anti-Americans being involved in these forever wars with no clear goals. Let's talk about the revelations here that Kamala Harris's campaign paid $500,000 to the charity run by Reverend Al Sharpton, who also hosts a show on MSNBC. So just weeks before she sat down with Sharpton for a really pitiful softball interview, even by Kamala's standards, she had handed over this $500,000 donation to this charity, which in itself is rather shady. We won't get into that. But there was no disclosure. Absolutely no disclosure. Even by MSNBC's very, very low standards, there's got to be some sort of an accountability for what happened here.
There's been this undercurrent of questioning whether there's support from the media in kind, even if it's not explicitly in cash, although here there's in cash. It'd be interesting to see in the court of law whether those things go anywhere, if anyone's going to prosecute it or not, I don't know. But at least the appearance of impropriety doesn't help. On top of the fact that she raised $1 billion, as we've talked about before, and is now at a deficit of $20 million because she's paying $500,000 here and $1 million to Oprah. Who knows what she paid to Beyonce, and I don't think she has much to show for it.
No, it was just completely having zero care for the money people donated. And some of these donations, yeah, they're from billionaires, but some would have been from everyday mum and dads who can ill afford to donate to a political cause, but they God knows why. And she spends $100,000 building a set that looks like it costs $5 in a hotel room for $4 a day. It just shows you what disdain the Democrats have.
It shows you why we $35 trillion in debt. These motherfuckers spend our money like drunken fucking sailors.
Kamala Harris and Jill Biden, and see if you can detect the pure hatred. Yeah, they're sitting together for Veterans Day commemorations in the Capitol. And watch as they fail to interact in any way. Kamala looks over a few times, but Jill is not having it, gives her nothing. And when you look at what happened before Kamala sat down, you see that Jill does not even acknowledge her. Kamala comes in, she's greeting people, she takes her seat, and Jill did not even acknowledge a woman who, a few days ago, she was supposedly endorsing full-heartedly. Look at the smiles, though, when Donald Trump visited the White House earlier today. Jill, Joe, Donald, they look like the best of friends. Look at that, I've never seen them so happy. Interesting interaction. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but there are long-running rumours that there's a fracture there. Jill Biden doesn't like Kamala, vice versa, and it certainly looks like it there.
We may be reading into it, but analyzing Jill Biden in the last 2 weeks has become a genre onto itself on Twitter from the fact that she wore red on election day to cast her vote. Maybe something, maybe nothing, but it definitely sparked a lot of rumors because typically the Democrats wear blue. She's wearing red or dark pink in that photo right there. And then the stone cold demeanor of Kamala that you showed, and it's smiling, the biggest smile ever with Trump. You know, it definitely creates an interesting narrative that we can have fun with. And it's backed up by a little bit of substance, in that it's easy to imagine that the Bidens do feel snubbed and scorned with how they were treated and pushed out at the 11th hour, so it's not hard to think.
Yes, you talked about Joe Biden and him in recent days being so. Yeah, I've been seeing this happen for years, literally for the whole 4-year term. It's hard to think of a time where he's just got that big smile on his face. I don't know whether it's just the pressure's lifted and he can just enjoy the final months of his lame duck presidency, or what it is, but he seems to be a trained and Coach Gaber, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
That's fair.
Yeah, 64 and throw his energy to hit the gym like
got so toxic?
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just solidified and so bitter. And I can't get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it.
The chutzpah of that man never fails to astound. It's like an arsonist holding a match, saying, I don't understand how it's hot all of a sudden. Where do these flames come from? Look in the mirror, chap. Okay, I've tried to avoid this for as long as I can, but here is some local lefties using it content. Senator Lydia Thorpe launching into an unhinged tirade against King Charles. Now, this Lefties Losing It segment gets millions of views every week around the world. We have a massive audience overseas, and they'll be shocked to learn that Lydia Thorpe, yes, the screaming banshee just saw, is a senator in the Australian Parliament.
I will not stand for racist racism in my workplace.
You are not helping the situation.
And the Prime Minister knows exactly what he's doing. He wants the Russians to come in and get made to terrorist life apart.
Fuck you. Finally, here is Senator Lydia Thorpe doing some of her best work outside a strip club in Melbourne. This was just last year.
If you look at someone taking Parliament for you, and you
It seems like a good time. But sadly, Senator Lydia Thorpe received a lifetime ban from that particular establishment. Maxine's Gentlemen's Club in Brunswick will no longer allow her entry. Sad. Okay, let's go back to laughing at lefties losing overseas. Here is a racist lefty in America. You know how she's voting.
What's more dangerous, straight white conservative men or axe murderers?
A straight white conservative man.
Why is he more dangerous?
Because they're capable of doing anything. They're crazy.
What makes him crazy?
They're white.
You don't think that's racist at all?
No.
And here is another woman backing Kamala because she thinks Donald Trump will take her birth control away.
If you were to vote for anybody in 2024, who is it going to be?
Kamala Harris.
Why is that?
Because I like having rights.
Having rights.
I'm gay, and I enjoy being able to marry who I want, be open about that at work. I'm also a woman. I take birth control. I like being able to do that.
Just exactly what rights did gay women lose under Donald Trump's administration, and why would we want her to stop taking birth control? She's a lesbian. Why is she taking birth control? The whole thing is confusing me. Now, this lady has really isolated the most important thing in this campaign. You better listen to her, you Catholic sexist pigs.
Regardless of who you're voting for, stop referring to a presidential candidate as just Kamala. It's Kamala Harris. We do not talk about the other person running and say Donald, right? We don't just say Donald. Maybe we should. Maybe we should start calling him Donnie. But up until this point, people have only felt comfortable referring to women in power by just their first names because they do not respect women in power. They did the same exact thing to Clinton. So if you have an ounce of feminism in your body, at the very least, say Kamala Harris.
Oh dear, doesn't it just fill you with warmth and confidence knowing that folks like that vote? Here is a couple wanting to send conservatives to re-education camps. Just feel the tolerance and empathy here.
We're trying to send conservatives to re-education camps to be more accepting.
Yeah.
You want to sign that? Oh, yeah. All right. So you would support taking their rights away and sending them to the camps forcefully?
100%.
That's us. So, like,
Would you be in support of banning conservatives from voting?
I think everyone has a right to vote.
Oh, you're taking our rights away to a re-education camp.
That is true.
Now, this next clip, they have a little creative input. We will check in with the lip readers on what was actually said, but I like to think it was something like this.